Hi everyone, welcome back to episode 4 of season 5, where we will be featuring stories around Japanese and Japanese American culture celebrating the coming of spring. For our pastry selection, we visit a 100-year-old still practicing and teaching the Japanese art of Ikebana. For our salad selection, we visit the founders of Kinnara Taiko, providing music to a local LA temple since 1969. For our chef special, we talk with the 2026 Queen of the Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival Queen Program. And for our dessert, we give a quick overview of spring festivals in our local SF Bay Area. And finally, we have a calendar of upcoming events. So without further delay, let's start the cafe. Hi everyone and welcome back. A huge thank you to all our loyal viewers and subscribers. We hope to continue bringing you fun and informative stories from the Japanese American community this year. Starting off with our pastry selection tonight, our cafe crew visits a 100-year-old Ikebana sensei about how she has been able to practice for so many years. Please enjoy.
January 1st is a special day to the Japanese culture, the coming of a new year. Kazuyo Suiyo Fujimoto turned 100 years old on January 1st of 2026 and still joyfully practices the art of Ikebana daily and has been teaching Ikebana for over 70 years. We ask her about her longevity and her heart to continue this for so long. Born in Osaka, Japan, Fujimoto Sensei came to the United States in 1953 with her husband, the late Reverend Hogan Fujimoto, to Fresno, California. Around that same time, she began formally teaching through the Ohara School of Ikebana in the United States and was involved in establishing the Ohara School of Ikebana, Northern California. We ask her about her longevity and her heart to continue this for so long.
全然そういう感じがしませんね。まだ気力は正直なとこありますね。気力はありますね。だからいつも今度どういう花入れたいなとかいうのは考えてますし、毎日家のお花は入れ替える。もうそれは欠かしたことないです。
As a Jodo Shinshu priest and practitioner, her Ikebana practice is rooted in her spiritual philosophy.
人間死ぬまでですよ、学び事は。だからお稽古事は本当死ぬまで、命絶えるまでやりますよ。
Fujimoto Sensei shares her basic philosophy and approach to Ikebana, which is not only an interaction with itself, but outside of itself.
種っていうのはお花の中で一番形がよくって力強いもの。そう。それは自分のハズバンドと思いなさいって。そして服はワイフ。だからハズバンドよりも強いものは持っていかない。その代わり姿形のいいものを選びなさい。
服で。
はい。そうでないとハズバンドがこんな強いワイフいらんって思われる。そして客はお客さんを温かく迎える。そういうつもりでお花を入れます。
Fujimoto Sensei recalls a trip that had a great impact on her Ikebana learning and the selection of the elements in representing the world around us. As she shares, this represents typical learning in Ikebana: contemplation, wisdom, and then applying.
ね、そして私フレスノのお稽古にドライブしていきます。そうすると田舎の土から出る霧があるのよ。土の中がこう燃えてくるの。でその時に私昔に家元のお花見てて、なんで霧がこんなことにしたから枯れた草を霧とみなすのかなと思って疑問だったの。 でドライブしててそのフレスノの霧が土から湧いて出てるのを見て、ああこれだと思ったのね。でそれから自分がそのただの模倣でなしに霧の選び方生え方生まれてくる姿、そういうものが本当に分かったから。
Fujimoto sensei explains what an Ikebana student learns is not only arranging flowers but also something about themselves.
私は自分が習ってることはもう私から吸い取るだけ吸い取れって言うてますからね。
皆さん。
だから見て覚え、私はその全部だから私が今これ言うたかって他の先生は「先生教えすぎよ」って言われます。でも私は教えすぎないと思うの。そんなみんな今私が点言って点みんな覚えてるはずないもの。でも何かの時に「あれ先生あんなこと言うてたな」とか、さっきほら霧の話それと同じでずっとどこかに残ってるのよ。
We wish Fujimoto sensei more joy in Ikebana for years to come. This is Greg Valoria for Koto Morikawa for the Nichi Bei Cafe.
Many thanks to our advertising manager and Japanese section editor, Kota Morikawa, and producer Greg Valoria for that segment. For our salad selection, we sit down with the founders of Kinnara Taiko, rooted at the Senshin Buddhist Temple in LA. They talk about the creation of the group and moving forward today. Please enjoy.
Kinnara, named after celestial musicians in Indian mythology and in the Japanese Buddhist tradition, and based out of Senshin Buddhist Temple in Los Angeles, its founders speak on how it evolved from a chanting group to a Japanese gagaku and taiko group.
When I was assigned to Senshin Buddhist Temple in 1968, the following year I started this group called Kinnara as a Buddhist study group. Mainly it started off exploring chanting in Jodo Shinshu tradition. So Kinnara are the celestial musicians specializing in chanting or singing. So we just picked that name.
Our particular ritual within the Jodo Shinshu sect of Buddhism, in which we are part of, we don't necessarily have other musical instruments to go along with the rituals. Once in a while we do have setakus, kind of like claves, and once in a while we do have cymbals that are played during certain chanting and stuff, but mainly overall it's just chanting. So there were certain chants that we were to do, and a lot of times you would just sit there while the ministers would do the chanting. So they got really old and really boring after a while, after us young kids started to get restless and didn't necessarily want to sit around and just listen to other people in reverence chant.
I'm not a believer in having clear ideas and setting out for them and achieving them, because my life has just been the exact opposite. It's just certain opportunities were ripe and it just happened. I got interested in gaku very early in high school here. So when I went to Japan, I took an instrument called a shiriki in Kyoto, and came back just when the old Nishi in LA was moving to the new Honganji. And I found out later that gaku has been here since the earliest I can find is 1911, up and down the Pacific Coast states.
Gagaku, a Japanese imperial court music, basically disappeared when the Emperor of Japan was in disfavor at the time in the United States.
Gaku disappeared immediately, within 24 hours, I think. instruments were burned, notation books were destroyed. Why? Because it was the emperor's music. And any connection with that, the rumor was, you would just disappear.
And so Gagaku disappeared into obscurity until Kinnara revived it. So the organization incorporated as its own nonprofit in 1969 and also began forming a taiko group, making it one of the pioneering organizations for North American taiko.
We're putting the taiko away, the Bonodori taiko. And it was George Abe, myself, and I can't remember, there was somebody else. Maybe Ronnie Matsuda. But anyway, we just started playing it, about 3 hours we were playing it because our fingers were bleeding. But it was such a good session. We said, we should do something with this, right? And that's how it started.
There was only like maybe 4 or 5 of us in the very, very beginning. Reverend Moss, myself, this guy Clark Nakashita, Ronnie Matsuda, Kenny Fukumoto, James Okazaki, some other folks just kind of wanted to play and just mess around. And it did lead us to being on the Yagura and playing Obon Taiko.
Since the temple only had one drum to use during its annual Obon, Reverend Kodani inquired how much new drums would cost at the time and learned it would be too expensive, so they sought other means.
And traditionally, taikos are made out of one solid piece of wood, made out of a tree known as keaki. And they're made out of one solid piece of wood and very, very expensive at that particular time. And even now, it's just totally, really expensive. So next best thing is, what do we use for a barrel, so to speak? And somebody just said, well, what about a barrel, a wooden barrel? So then, okay, that's a good idea. Let's go out and do some research and see what they have out there. And not knowing anything about barrels, wooden barrels, we just went to a hobby shop and, there's a barrel there. Has stuff in it. We says, well, take the stuff out. It says, how much is the barrel? So we purchased these really, really cheap barrels and stuff.
The group continues today as membership ebbs and flows. Mori teaches taiko to 6-year-olds. Today, the two founders in their 70s continue to lead Kinnara, but also has allowed it to thrive into the future.
Reminds myself pretty much helps lead the group. But mainly it's a lot of administration work that we've been doing for a while, so we just continue doing it. There are younger folks coming in, especially within the taiko group, that can lead the group right now. There are folks that could step up and take care of it. One of them is Derek Oye. He played taiko at UC Berkeley, Raijin Taiko. And in 2016, the taiko community developed this Taiko Community Alliance. And we had started in 2000. We were part of, a lot of us were part of that, the older groups. And anyway, so I was the first chair. Anyway, I was the first chair, and then Derek was the second chair. So he's involved and he understands the taiko community, the national taiko community, and what's going on and stuff like that. So he plays with Kinnara. He has 2 young kids, and so he still participates as much as he can with having 2 kids, and so we all feel pretty comfortable that he could jump right in and deal with it, take care of it.
For more information, visit senshintemple.org/groups/Kinnara. This is Greg Valoria for Tomo Hirai for the Nichi Bei Cafe.
Thanks to our staff writer, Tomo Hirai, and producer Greg Valoria for that segment. And just a reminder, the Nichi Bei Foundation's Northern California Soy and Tofu Festival is returning June 13th. More next month. For our chef special selection, our staff writer Tomo Hirai and videographer Max Nihei catch up with the 2026 Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival Queen. Let's find out more about Queen Kristina Michiko Hiraishi.
On April 4th, 2026, 5 candidates, Kaylin Keiko Wong, Emi Terada, Natalie Tokiwa Desena, Julia Kirari Obuchi, and Kristina Michiko Hiraishi participated in the 59th Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival Queen Program. Months of development and cultural training culminated in one night of speeches.
Embracing cultural diversity helps our community grow.
Interviews.
And I am so happy to be with all my sisters here.
And a presentation of creative expression. Once the dust was settled, a panel of judges selected Kristina Michiko Hiraishi to be the new queen, and the 2025 court, led by Christy Satomi Ando and First Princess Teralyn Kumi Tokiwa, ceremonially passed the torch to the 2026 Queen Court. With First Princess Caitlin Keiko Wong, Hiraishi will lead the 2026 court through a year representing the Northern Californian Japanese American community as ambassadors to other Nikkei communities in Los Angeles and Hawaii, as well as volunteer at community events. Queen Hiraishi was awarded with airline miles for a trip to Japan and with the Queen's kimono, donated by the Fujiyasu Kimono Company of Japan, a tradition started in 1973 to commemorate donations Japanese Americans sent to Japan after World War II. In her opening speech, Hiraishi, a Yonsei from West Covina, California, reflected on how her grandparents hosted annual family gatherings until they passed away last year.
This left us wondering, where do we meet now? The Japanese American community is no stranger to this loss of physical space. In the 1940s, you can walk through the 40 blocks of San Francisco's residential Japantown, passing by Victorian homes, confectionaries, and barbershops. Today, Japantown is only 6 blocks. In the 1960s and 70s, the structural racism of redevelopment kicked out legacy families and businesses under the guise of urban renewal and tourism. Japantowns are like my grandparents' farm, a home for dispersed Japanese and Japanese Americans to sit at the same table and participate in tradition. But they're not eternal. A loss can erase the tangible history of our community's existence. To the younger generation, we cannot allow more space to be taken away. We cannot assume that our remaining Japantowns are safe from the threats of gentrification or that current efforts will protect us forever. As our world changes, how we blend tradition with innovation will be our hope in keeping physical space in the hands of the Japanese American community, so we never have to ask ourselves, where do we meet now?
In her creative expression performance, she and her friends dazzled the crowd with their line dancing skills.
Dancing is fun. I'm also just really excited for the next weekends. Just going to the Cherry Blossom Festivals, getting to meet the small business owners and do the walk around, and just to meet the community as formally the new 2026 court. So very excited for what's to come.
For more information, go to nccpfqueenprogram.org. You can see the 2026 Queen Court in the Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival Parade on April 19th, 2026 at San Francisco's Japantown. The Nichi Bei Cafe, which is the Queen and Court, a fantastic year ahead. This is Max Nihei for Tomo Hirai for the Nichi Bei Cafe.
Thanks to Tomo and Max for that segment. Just a reminder, you can read in-depth articles about these Nichi Bei Cafe segments in our community news publication, the Nichi Bei News. and in-depth stories of the Nichi Bei Cafe on our Nichi Bei Foundation YouTube channel at Nichi Bei Foundation. Our annual Japanese Culture and Cherry Blossom Festivals guide has been distributed all across the country, and a digital edition of it can be found on our website, nichibei.org. So to get this and a lot more delivered to you quicker, please be sure to become a member of the Nichi Bei Foundation, where you will receive your bi-monthly copy of the Nichi Bei News at nichibei.org/subscribe. Next up, for our dessert segment, our Nichi Bei Cafe crew connects with organizers of the Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival in San Francisco, the Nikkei Matsuri in San Jose, and the Cupertino Cherry Blossom Festival.
Welcome to the 2026 Nichi Bei Cafe's Bay Area Spring Festivals Guide. First up, we go to the Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival in San Francisco to visit with Kiyomi Takeda, president of the board of the Sakura Matsuri Inc. that operates the festival.
The first weekend was a Cherry Blossom Festival to remember. I think in my 21 years, there's only been like 2 really rainy years, but this one was definitely was one of the most challenging. But I have to say, like, this festival is organized by the community for the community, and that spirit really shone. One thing I do think about a lot, and I'm really conscientious, and our whole organization is conscientious of, is our responsibility to our community, and just how, yes, bad weather is unfortunate, but that bad weather results in really that has a huge impact on our community. We are so excited for a sunnier second weekend of the festival. It's going to be amazing. One of the big highlights, and we're so excited to share, is that we're going to be having guests from Japan, the Kanda Myojin, who is our sister festival that happens in Tokyo in May. They're going to be coming. And in 2000, they donated a Mikoshi shrine that has been displayed in US Bank for many years. And we are, for the first time, going to be activating it together. Also, the Taru Mikoshi ceremony, that purification ceremony, that will be happening at 10:30 on Post in Buchanan, which is always a really great event to celebrate the finale of our grand parade ahead of the parade itself. As far as the parade goes, my goodness, we have a record more than 50 contingents this year. We are so excited to be welcoming our Grand Marshal, Atsuko Okatsuka, who is hilarious. She is a comedian. You may have seen some of her skits on TV. She's fantastic. And so we're so honored to be bringing her and inviting her to our Japantown. We'll also be honoring our parade marshals, Steve Nakajo and Roy and PJ Hirabayashi. So please come to support and share your excitement for them. One thing that is also exciting for us this year is we really want to welcome everybody to our festival and to make sure that everybody feels welcome. And so in an effort for making the festival more inclusive, we introduced for the first time ever a sensory safe space that was kindly donated to us. The space was donated to us by the Japan Center Malls. And in addition to that, we also are offering a universal changing station. So for folks who may not be able to utilize the restroom or need to have additional care in a safe space, we're offering that as well. The one additional highlight that's one of my favorites is that we're going to be having the Kazanami Yosakoi dance showcase happening. On Saturday, they're doing a performance, and they're going to be in the parade on Sunday. I believe we have 9 teams, international, nationally, coming through, showcasing their yosakoi. It's going to be incredible. So please, it is something that you cannot miss. Love everybody to come to the second weekend. If you are not able to come, please consider donating to these organizations, going online, paying for buying things online on their stores, or visiting Japantown, and please, even more so, supporting them. The second weekend of the festival is April 18th and 19th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. The Grand Parade starts at 1 o'clock. It starts from Civic Center, so it might take a little bit before it reaches Japantown. But if you are more interested in more information, you could find information on our website, sfcherryblossom.org, and follow us on social media.
Next, we go to check in with Alisa Sakas, president of the Cupertino Toyokawa Sister Cities organization, who demonstrates this relationship by running the Cupertino Cherry Blossom Festival.
So for 2026, our mission is really to share all types of Japanese arts and culture, from the very ancient to contemporary and trending. And so we've got a lot of fun new things, a lot of them contemporary. This year, we're really excited. We're going to try this for the first time. We're going to do a cosplay meetup. And we're going to do that on Saturday at 2 p.m. And we're going to ask people to meet us at the gazebo in Memorial Park. And then this year, for the first time on both days between 12 and 3, we're going to offer kind of a make and take for kids to come make koinobori craft, so that the families can fly a carp windsock. It'll be just in time for Children's Day. As you know, that's celebrated May 5th. So we hope that lots of families will come and try out that new craft that we're offering. And that's going to be over by the cotton candy booth. And that's right in the children's playground area. So it's going to be a perfect thing. We're also, for the first time, going to have a manga mobile bookstore, if you will, coming in to join our festival. So that's something really fun. And then we always have a featured artist. This year's featured artist is Masayuki Koga. He's a teacher, composer, and virtuoso performer of the shakuhachi flute. And he's going to be performing both traditional and contemporary pieces. So people will not want to miss that. Also new, last year was the first year that Cupertino Toyokawa Sister Cities sponsored a candidate in the NorCal Cherry Blossom Queen program, Nami Sumimoto. She's going to be there all weekend. She'll do some guest emceeing and people will see her around the festival. She signed up to volunteer all over the place. And then this year we sponsored a candidate, Kristina Hiraishi, and she was crowned queen of the NorCal Cherry Blossom Queen Festival. So we're really excited about that. And she's going to bring her full court with her. And as always, we'll introduce them on the stage on Saturday. Shirley Muramoto's Koto Studio is preparing a rendition of the Oscar-winning song Golden from the animated movie K-pop Demon Hunter. Hopefully that'll attract a young crowd. So it's really fun because she's going to be performing this very contemporary song on a very traditional Japanese instrument, the koto. I always like to mention, because inevitably I talk to someone who visits for the first time and they don't realize that there are 2 food courts, one behind the Quinlan Center and one over by the Senior Center. The Senior Center one's food trucks, and the one behind the Quinlan Center's food courts. And we also have 2 stages. So there's an outdoor stage in the amphitheater of the park. And that's for a lot of the big performances, loud performances, the taiko groups. But then we also have a stage inside the Quinlan Center. And that's a much more intimate stage and has a lot of the very traditional master artists performing. So I hope that people will make sure to visit both stages. Yeah, well, I think that we really are just trying to share Japanese arts and culture. But like, for instance, the featured artist, Master Koga and Shirley Muramoto, they realize that they can take a very ancient art form and modernize it and bring a new crowd into it. And we have these really cute cardboard cutouts. They're quite large. They're like 4 feet tall. And so we really encourage people to come over and do a selfie with them or take a picture with them. We have another place to take selfies or photos. We have a photo booth inside the Quinlan Center, and it's free. And we've got some really nice backdrops. We have a practically life-size backdrop of one of the shrines in Toyokawa. So people can feel like they're visiting Toyokawa, take a picture. We really are trying to appeal to all ages. It's a very family-oriented festival. But we do think that bringing in, and we're lucky that there's so much happening in Japanese culture that we're trying to keep up with. I think you'll find that it's a really great crowd. If you look at some of the pictures from our past festivals, it's very vibrant. And there's just so much to offer. So I really encourage people to really walk around and see everything, see the 2 food courts, see the 2 performance stages, and walk all around. And the Quinlan Center's got something going on in almost every room. I'd like to welcome everyone to visit the Cupertino Cherry Blossom Festival. It'll be Saturday and Sunday, April 25th and 26th. And the festival will run from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. each day. It'll be throughout Memorial Park, the Quinlan Center, and the Cupertino Senior Center. This is our 42nd annual spring celebration honoring Cupertino's sister city, Toyokawa, Japan. There's free parking at De Anza College and in the Flint Center on all 4 levels. There will be 2 food courts, one behind the Quinlan Center and one in the Senior Center for food trucks, and 2 stages, the outdoor amphitheater and the indoor theater in the Quinlan Center. So please come by and visit the Cupertino Cherry Blossom Festival. See you there.
Next, we check in with Kinuyo Nishijima, board member of the Nikkei Matsuri, to see what's new with the Nikkei Matsuri in San Jose's Japantown.
80 vendors. It's a little bit smaller than usual because of the construction going on in Japantown, but about a third of them are brand new to the festival. And so some of the ones that I in particular am really looking forward to is one of them is selling hand-dyed indigo textiles. Another one is a local chocolatier. And then we also have someone selling vintage kimono. So I really want people to come out and check them out. The stages, we have 3 stages outside as well as the indoor one. And so we'll have stuff like taiko, including like a little parade section where we'll walk over to the stage while the taiko is going on. We'll, of course, have the Lotus Preschooler demonstrations that everyone loves. We'll have tea ceremony at the make and take area, as well as martial arts demonstrations like judo and kendo. So every year we do a raising of the koi to honor someone in the Japantown community. And this year we're going to be honoring Lin Yamaichi. She's been super involved with the community, and I think she's a little bit shy, so I probably shouldn't talk too much about her. But she and her family have been so central to the Japantown community. So we'll be having her raise the koi this year. But this festival is really important. It's not just to show off the cool things that are going down around San Jose Japantown, but it also funds a lot of community projects and scholarships. And in coming out to Nikkei Matsuri, you'll be supporting a lot of local businesses and community organizations and keeping San Jose Japantown alive. So we really appreciate you coming out to show support. The Nikkei Matsuri Festival will be happening on April 26th. That's a Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We also have a shuttle that will run between the county lot to the festival from 6 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. so that you can get to and from without having to try to find parking in Japantown, which is tough. You can find more information on our website. That's nikkeimatsuri.org.
A big thank you to Greg for that segment. To experience the beauty of Japanese culture, stop by one of these great festivals this spring. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us for the 4th episode of Season 5. We hope that you enjoyed what we, and of course all of our featured chefs, cooked up for our show today. At this point, we want to give a big thanks to the Henry and Tomoe Takahashi Charitable Foundation for their continued support of the cafe. We're always appreciative of our collaboration with you in finding new ways to engage our Nikkei community. We also thank you for continuing to support our YouTube channel and hope you will enjoy more of our exciting content planned for this year. So please continue to support us by telling your friends, family, and loved ones to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this episode, and comment down below. To stay in the know of more happenings in the Japanese American community, please consider becoming a member of our Nichi Bei community to help support what we do here at www.nichibei.org/subscribe. You'll find these video stories transformed into print in our current Japanese Culture and Cherry Blossom Festivals guide. A lot of things are happening in the community. Please go to nichibei.org/events for up-to-date information of community events in your area. If you'd like to have your event listed on our webpage, please send us an email at calendar@nichibei.org.
Set CD with every copy of the Hard Mountain Sentinel newspaper on it.
This is probably the biggest audience I've ever had for one of my films.
This was a way to tell my story as well through her family.
Students at Michiko High School in Tulare, I think, have just been really amazing in their drive to build this memorial.
Accurately as possible, a version of my grandma's story.
Nichi Bei proudly presents Asian Heritage Night with the Oakland Athletics. The Athletics take on Steve Kwan and the Cleveland Guardians. Join us on Friday, May 1st at Sutter Health Park in West Sacramento. For the ultimate experience, grab a premium ticket for just $115, which includes exclusive private rooftop seating and an all-you-can-eat barbecue spread. Or join us behind third base for just $45 or $37 for select seats. Plus, enjoy live entertainment from Iwa Daiko, the Asian Pacific All-Stars in Karaume. Visit nichibeifoundation.org/athletics. Don't miss it.
Ikebana sensei about no, can't do it. Including past immigration and exclusionary laws. No, I didn't like that.
No.
Probably one more time. Oh, that's it?
Yeah. Thank you.
Damn, felt fast.